Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John, and today I have something new. I have a tier list for you, so I'll explain that in a minute. Before I begin, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews, I do rankings, and I start doing other stuff like tier lists and different things. So please subscribe. You can keep up to date on all my videos. I upload pretty much one video every day. I've seen other channels do this. I know like Metal Trenches does this a lot, and a couple of other channels. It's called a tier list. It's similar to a ranking, but you basically take albums and you put them at different levels. So I'll explain that in a minute. You know, I see the other channels do this, and they're a lot more like high tech than I am. They do have the split screen. I tried recording this with my screen recorder on my PC, but it kept freezing up. So I'm just gonna record it by pointing my cell phone at the screen. It's gonna be very low tech, but hey, let's have fun with it. So I'm going to go behind the scenes for the next 6 or 7 minutes. So I'll be back in a little while. Okay, here on my screen is the tier maker. So I've seen a lot of other channels do this, and I decided, you know, since this is my first time, I decided to do the albums of Led Zeppelin. So if I kind of like zoom in here, basically down at the bottom we have all of the different Led Zeppelin albums, and here we have different levels. So in the S tier here, this is called like the superb. Like this is like the perfect album. This is like the top level tier. So usually I've seen other channels usually reserve the spot for like only like one album out of the entire discography. Now we have the A, B, C, and D. This is based on the American school system grading system. You know, we have A, great album, B, very good album, C is an okay album, and D, it's an album that's not that great. Now Led Zeppelin, I don't think anything would fall under the D, and I don't have Coda here. But if I did, I might even be a D or even a C. So anyway, the one album that I would reserve for the S spot would be this one here, Led Zeppelin 4. So these are basically 8 songs. That's almost like a perfect album. You have a Rock and Roll, Black Dog, Stairway to Heaven, Four Sticks, Battle of Evermore, Going to California. I mean, this album, it's basically like untouchable. I know when I did my ranking video, it was a couple months ago, and I had this ranked maybe like 3 or 4 or something, but I think this is the album that deserves the top spot in the S tier. Okay, so let's go through the rest of the albums. I'll do the rest chronologically. Led Zeppelin 1, I'm gonna put in the A tier. So this is an awesome album. It basically has bluesy songs, it has some rocking songs, and it has some of the like psychedelic songs like Dazed and Confused. And it's basically a great album like all the way through. So that's why I have Led Zeppelin 1 there. Now let me go to number 2. Led Zeppelin 2, I would also put on the A tier. So let me also add that these tiers, I can put more than one album on one particular tier, so it's not like a ranking. I could put like 3 or 4 albums on one particular tier. So this is Led Zeppelin 2. So for Led Zeppelin 2, I mean, we have a lot of greats here. Whole Lot of Love, What Is and What Should Never Be, Heartbreaker, Live and Love and Made. Those two gotta go together. If you've ever like listened to the radio back then. We got acoustic Ramble On, that's a great acoustic intro. Moby Dick, awesome instrumental, so that's an A level. Now I'm going to Led Zeppelin 3, and I'm gonna move that up to the A level again. So Led Zeppelin 3 starts out with the Immigrant Song. This is like one of the first metal songs ever. This is like a blueprint for Viking metal. So many metal bands have covered it. I know Saxon has a cover of it on their new album that's coming out pretty soon. But then the rest is like mostly like acoustic like rock. We got like Friends, Out in the Tiles, Gallows Pole. We have Hats Off to Roy Harper. So these are really good songs. So these go in the A category. Houses of the Holy. This one I'm gonna level down. I actually like this album a lot. I think there was a period like in the mid 90s when this was the album I listened to the most. But I put it in B. I basically like all the songs. I think for me the one weak song on this album would be the Crunge. This one I don't really go into, but the songs are a little more experimental. I pretty much like everything else. Like the Rain song, that's an awesome song. Over the Hills and Far Away, awesome acoustic song. No Quarter, that's a really like cool, like psychedelic song. So this is a really good album. I think just brought down a little bit by the Crunge. I'm gonna go with, next was Physical Graffiti. And I'm gonna put this up here and I'll explain why. Even though I think it might get a little weak like towards the end, but 90% of this album is killer, and it's a double album, and there are many few like double albums that could really pull that off. Just have like almost like all of the entire, like all four sides like on the vinyl be like almost great songs. So that's why I have Physical Graffiti at the A list. So for Physical Graffiti, this one has probably my favorite Led Zeppelin song of all time, called 10 Years Gone. But all the other songs, like In the Light, Kashmir is a classic, House of the Holy, The Rover, Custard Pie. I mean, those are some pretty cool rocking songs. They're almost like heavy songs. So they have those. So next I have In Through the Outdoor. I'm gonna put that in a B, only because it has two of my favorite songs ever, All My Love and Fool in the Rain. The other songs, I think there's some songs I can do without, like Hot Dog, I don't really like too much. Southbound Suarez, not too much. When I did my ranking, I put Caros Alhambra at the bottom of my ranking of all the songs. But that song actually kind of grew on me a little when I listened again. It's a long song. It's almost like a Rush song. It just has like all these different like sections. It's kind of strange, but Caros Alhambra, it's a pretty good song. So that's why I have that in the B section. And the last one is Presence. Now I'm going to put this at the C. I think for some reason like this album just never clicked with me. I know a lot of people like it. You know, T for One, Achilles' Last Stand is pretty good. So this is one of those albums. It's actually an EP, but it's also like 41 minutes or something like that. I mean, longer than most particular albums that came out that particular year. Like for example, Kiss Destroyer, that's like 33 or 36 minutes. But anyway, going back to Presence, I feel I never clicked with that album, so that's why I have that at the C level. Okay, so let me return. Thank you for watching. Comment below, let me know what do you think of my tier level ranking of the Led Zeppelin albums. Anything you would do differently? Do you agree or do you disagree? And if you're interested in seeing my other Led Zeppelin videos, I have a Led Zeppelin ranking video right there, and I have a Led Zeppelin all like 68 songs ranked. I'm going to link that right there. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.